One of the fun aspects, one of the greatest aspects, maybe the greatest aspect of the NOS Energy Drinks Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's is the family reunion aspect. I mean, we know the racing is going to be good. We know the beer is going to be cold. We know the cattleman's steak and corn is going to be delicious. We know that. But a lot of times it's the friendships that we have out there. And in many instances, they are friendships that we only see 1 year at a time. And then this crazy time in our life, friendships that we only see once every other year, with last year's event being canceled. The social aspect, the catching up with people, Erin, is just such a wonderful, special part of the Nationals.
It really is. And like you said, it might be my favorite part. The racing's fantastic. The cars are awesome. The area is great, but it's the people. And it's like, I said this for years when I had the chance to race it a little bit in the NASCAR ranks here. And I went back and raced the World of Outlaws. It was like family. It was like it was hugs everywhere. I don't really know how to describe it, but you're right. It is that family that you haven't seen in a year.
There's a picture from our 410 dash from the finish. It's I'm on the one side, then you, then Richard Marshall, then Bonnie Elam, then Jennifer Marshall, and then there are two other people, wonderful people. But I look at the five of us, and I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking about my running journey and my life, and I'm thinking, there are four people right there next to me that I see you every week.
Yeah.
But it's like there are four people right next to me that I just absolutely love the friendship that I have with all of them. And I was just thinking about that. Bonnie Elam from James.
She's awesome.
She just there's not a nicer person. And with me, with my running journey, of course, she's run marathons in every
73 or 4.
Yeah, she's run marathons in every state.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those people that as I started over the last couple of years, just one of those nice people.
Awesome. J&J supported me from the start of my racing career, and we still have this great friendship. Oh, and by the way, she ran back to the track and went for a longer run after the 410 dash was over.
Not shocked at that. Not shocked at that.
I called her an overachiever.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, and Richard and Jennifer Marshall, they've become over the last couple of years, we've gotten to really know them, and it's just neat. I set all of this up. Oh, but she's Erin Evernham. I'm Steve Post. This is Wing Nation, presented by Dryden by DRF Racing Oils. One of our favorite people, and I ran into him out there, is Steve Beitler.
See him. That is the one sad part, is you don't always get to see everyone.
Okay. So I'm gonna go on a little pedestal. Okay, I had two people send me text on Saturday. Man, I looked all over and never saw you. Okay, at 6 o'clock every night, I was in the same spot. From 5:30 to 7 every night, I was in the same spot.
Well, and actually from 7 to 7:30, you were at the Iowa Beer Bus.
So from 5:30 to 7:30, I was in the same spot every night.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, man, I looked all over and I couldn't find you. You didn't look all over if you couldn't find me. Because
you were up there singing, you were dancing.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. So, okay, that's enough of the soapbox. But so Steve was one of, because there's always people you miss seeing. Yeah. I saw him 2 or 3 times, didn't get a chance to talk to him. One time I said, what's the story about you retiring? And he started, and then someone grabbed me, and there we go. So we're going to talk to Steve Beitler. Steve is the present owner of Skagit Speedway, but not for long, and one of our favorite people to talk to on the program. We're going to find out what in the wide world of sports is going up. He's got the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals coming up, and then I guess he's just handing the keys off to somebody else. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to Steve Beitler. Before we get to that, though, I do want to take one more look and listen back. It was that B-Main on Saturday night. Kerry Madsen, Corey Eliason, Spencer Baston, and Sheldon Hodenshield, 4 drivers going for 3 spots, Tony Bachhoven, and Johnny Gibson with the call on Dirt Vision.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
Here comes Sheldon now to the inside of Spencer Baston on the white flag lap. Will he get there? Baston to the top, Sheldon into a transfer spot in turn 2. Here comes Baston back to the inside, down the back chute for the final time.
Kerry Madsen, Corey Eliason, and Sheldon Hodenshield race for the 2nd spot as the win will go to Carson Messina. The transfer spot, Baston back around Hodenshield out of turn number 4. Who's got it? They are so close at the line. It goes to Sheldon Hodenshield.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Deaf, the official deaf of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
For decades, Dryden Lubricants has been made in America and made to last, paving the way on our highways, in our fields, and on the production line. Today, Dryden offers a complete line of engine oils, greases, hydraulic and transmission fluids, and diesel exhaust fluid. If you want greater performance and protection for your critical engines and equipment, go to Dryden.com. Dryden, American-owned and operated, and a proud supporter of racing and race fans everywhere. Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there no matter where the road takes you. Go to HerculesTires.com. There you can find the nearest authorized Hercules retail location to you. Plus, you can use the tire tracker to find out which Hercules tire fits your vehicle the best. That's HerculesTires.com. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Wing Nation, presented by Dryden and DRF Racing Oils in the Hercules Tire Studios in Concord, North Carolina. We are going to the Sage Fruit Hotline. Our buddy Steve Beitler joins us. Hello, Steve. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Well, hello, Steve and Erin. How you guys doing?
We are fantastic. We want to talk about all things that are going on to Skagit, but we just have to go back. How did you enjoy? Did you have this might be the dumbest question you are ever asked. Did you have a good time in Knoxville?
Oh yeah, if you don't have a good time at the Knoxville Nationals, you're either in a coma or not paying attention. So I had a wonderful time.
That is neat. That is good. Good stuff.
What were your thoughts leaving Knoxville? Sorry, I got to keep talking Knoxville a little bit longer. I mean, Kyle Larson winning wasn't a huge surprise, but what a great week we had.
Yeah, it certainly was. You know, I got back there in time to do the 360 Nationals, the Cappy Classic, and you know, there's just so many talented racers at all levels of racing that were back in that area. And, you know, everybody was pulling for different people. And all I cared about is that somebody won the Nationals that's never won it before. And, you know, in a small way, I was kind of hoping that Kyle would win it because, you know, I remember when he first started racing sprint cars, he came up to Skagit Speedway. So I've really followed him in his career. And I'd heard about it before he was ever up there. And, you know, we don't realize right now, but we're watching some serious history in motorsport. I mean, 20 years down the road, people are going to look back at what Kyle Larson is, and we're going to say we were part of it on his way up.
Yeah, you're right about that. On his way up, and then in this year, I mean, it is, now that you mentioned it, it's kind of cool that we talked, Erin and I talked, you know, you take Chili Bowl, Coca-Cola 600, Kings Royal, Prairie Dirt Classic, and Knoxville Nationals, and you're right, I'll be able to tell my kids I saw 2 of those.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's just a phenomenal racer. You know, I can't say he's the greatest of all time yet. He ain't been racing long enough. But, you know, stays healthy. He's going to be stand on the same podium with Mario Andretti and, you know, Jackie Stewart, AJ Foyt, Steve Kinser, people like that. So it's going to be amazing to watch his career.
For sure.
It really is. So, Steve, before all this Knoxville stuff got going, there was a big announcement about you selling Skagit Speedway. How did this come about? When does the transition happen? Just give us all the deets.
Well, you know, I was approached a couple of years ago, asked if I'd ever want to sell it. I said, well, sure, everything's always for sale, but I wasn't ready to sell it yet. You know, it just took a little time to put everything together, and I just decided after last year that I would pursue it a little bit more. And you know, there's not any one reason why I sold Skagit Speedway. I mean, I truly love the place. I love what I'm doing. It's just rocking right now. It's doing the best it's ever done. But, you know, there's just lots of little reasons. And, you know, everything from losing my dad in November, and him and I talked a lot about life and just, you know, there's more to life than just working every day and, you know, when's enough, stuff like that. You know, right down to where, you know, I've been doing this. You know, I went to work there 55 years ago when I was 8 years old, selling programs and speed sport news and stuff like that. And I missed out on a lot of summer stuff, you know, on the weekends. And I just felt it was time. And, you know, there's no particular reason. Just, you know, I found some really good buyers. And, you know, I remember growing up, AJ Foyt was my hero. I wore number 14 playing football. And I remember AJ was at the Speedway, and he made a few laps, just pulled in and got out and took his helmet off, said, I'm done, and walked away from it. I just think everybody knows when it's time to be done. And I definitely want to go out and I'm on the top or on my way up than I would on my way down. So I think it's just the timing worked out good. It just it's time for some fresh energy and maybe some new ideas, and you know, they're bringing a lot of good resources to the table. So they basically they bought the track about 2 weeks ago. Actually, yeah, 2 weeks ago today they bought the track. We closed the deal, and I'll operate it through championship night, September 18th, and then I turn it over to the new buyers on September 20th.
Nice. Good stuff, that's for sure. Steve, you mentioned this. We followed along, of course, with the Dirt Cup out there and saw Dominic Scelzi win that, and that's just such a special, special race. You posted a video of your fireworks night, someone did, from the infield area where there was not a seat to be had. It's got to be going out on top and headed in the right direction. I want you to talk a little bit more about that, because after last year was so strange with no crowd and everything like that, to bounce back like this is pretty impressive, and I can't imagine what the feeling has been like as you've rolled through this year.
Well, I'm pleasantly surprised. You know, I knew there was some pent-up demand for, you know, outdoor recreation, entertainment and stuff, but this year, you know, the whole team has worked hard. Our guerrilla marketing, from getting signs all over the 3-county area on the road to putting posters up to doing social media, and just, you know, the main thing though is last year with the pay-per-view, we gained a lot of new customers that did pay-per-view on Thursday night, and a lot of people had heard about it, started watching it, then they want to come out and see it in person this year. And I think a lot of it is that we run really tight shows. We get started on time. If I say opening ceremonies at 7 o'clock, you can set your watch by it. And we try to get done, you know, between 9, 9:30, quarter to 10 at the latest. And I just think it's real important to run a good quality show for the fans. And that keeps them coming back, and that keeps them telling their friends about it.
Steve, you talk about how well your season's been, but really the West Coast in general has been strong. We talked about Dominic Scelzi, but there's a whole group out there that is really competitive. It seems to be growing. Do you see any plans or thoughts in the future of there being some sort of West Coast series that goes all up and down the coast, not just in California?
You know, I'm not so sure about that, just because, you know, Oregon's a little bit soft right now. You know, Heather Boyce is really working hard at Cottage Grove, and that's really the main track in Oregon that's got something consistent going on. And, you know, and her budget's not what it needs to be able to really entertain some big events. And, you know, she's doing it all out of her pocket. But, you know, from Skagit to even Silver Dollar Speedway in Chico, 725 miles. You know, I could see doing some north-south stuff. You know, obviously the new owners, Kevin Rudine and Mike Anderson and Peter Murphy, they're really trying to revive some 410 stuff. So I could see that maybe they'll incorporate that up and down the coast for a couple of weekends up in Washington possibly. But, you know, it's just so much traveling with the expensive fuel and motels and stuff like that now that, you know, people, I just don't think they travel as much as they used to. But it's always a possibility if you put it together right, promote it right.
Steve, you have such a passion for racing. You've talked about since 8 years old, for a long time as a driver, then as an owner of Skagit Speedway and one of the promoters, premier promoters in the sport. When it comes time to selling to racers, Kevin Rudine, Mike Anderson, and Peter Murphy, to me, I mean, I was going to say how important is that? It's almost like that had to be almost critical to you that it was sold to racers.
Well, it was. I mean, I had a broker approach me about March, and he represented, I believe it was Mannheim Auto Auction, and they were looking for a large piece of commercial property, and they really wanted to buy my track. They would have paid me more money I sold it for, but I just told them I couldn't do it. I won't sell it. It's not going to be a racetrack. And I passed on that deal back in March. And then, you know, there was another group that wanted to buy it. There was a group of, a couple of them were racers, and one of them was a builder also. But, you know, it was important to me to sell it to the right group. And it just, you know, if you look at it, Kevin Rudine has always called Skagit Speedway his home track. You'll never find anybody more generous and more passionate about racing. And, you know, he's got the resources to really take Skagit Speedway to the same level of Eldora and Knoxville. And Mike Anderson, you know, he's been a car owner for 25 plus years, a very good businessman, owns several businesses around the valley, and really understands the business side of it. And then you bring Peter into the mix, and, you know, Peter possesses the one most important thing to being successful, and that's called passion. And that man has so much passion for what he does. he can learn how to run a racetrack and learn how to grade a track and all that. But, I can teach him all that, but I can't teach him how to get out of bed in the morning and go to work. He's got good work ethics, and, he brings a key ingredient to the pie, passion and his want to excel and do good. So I just felt like this combination was, definitely a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I'd certainly agree. That is a winning combination. What do you, Steve, when you make the transition, what are your plans? What are things that you would like to do in life now that you're not going to have to be working at the racetrack day in, day out?
Well, I went back to Knoxville just to relax for a couple of weeks. I wasn't there 24 hours, and John McCoy put me to work up in the tower running the in-car radio, but it was fine. I was happy to help out. I kind of enjoyed it because I didn't have any headaches. But, really my plans, I've always enjoyed traveling. I just want to go relax somewhere, just, de-stress, clear my head out, start taking better care of me physically, mentally, spiritually. Just, I've been running wide open for so long. I can't even hardly go on vacation because I can't sit around. So I guess I got to learn how to try to relax and unwind and slow down is what my big project this winter is going to be.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
As someone who battles the same thing, and I've had, with some of the fitness stuff, I get that totally. And then the reward when you do have a little success here and there, it's really, really neat. Now, before we hand the keys off to the new people, you still have a big portion of your schedule coming up, including the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals coming up. So you're not done yet. You've got a couple big things, and then your championship night throughout there. You still got a couple big things coming up before we hand the keys over.
Yeah, there certainly is. Well, this weekend I've got a big 2-day monster truck show. We're just back there. They're in town today, starting to set up the course. I'm in Spokane, headed west. I'll be home in about 4 hours. So they're setting up this. We got a 2-day monster truck show this weekend, and then next weekend we do our annual bicycle giveaway, where we give away a couple hundred bicycles, all the kids and stuff come to the races, and then we roll right into our 3-day Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals, and that's going to be pretty special this year because it's the first time we've done the 3-day outlaw show, and our 2-day shows have been extremely successful not last year, but the years before that when we ran it. And I've known Chuck Sinks for a while, and we've always been friends, and he finally said, let's do something small out there. And, he wanted to maybe sponsor the Winner's Circle or the Rookie Award or something. And by the time I got him off the phone, he'd bought the naming rights for the Skagit Nationals, and he's very happy with that. So we're looking forward to really making that a big event. And it's the highest paying event on the West Coast this year for the Outlaws. And I'm excited to plant the seed for that, lay the foundation this year, and let the new owners take it and let it grow over the next several years.
Nice stuff. I want to step to something totally bike night, bicycle night. I am telling you, I think we as an industry underappreciate and undervalue. And here's where this comes from. Okay, I'm walking up and down Highway 14 there, walking up to the North Campground. And there's kids on bikes going everywhere. And I'm thinking, man, these kids have their freedom. And then when you think about bike night, and when you think about you're a kid, bike is freedom. Bike nights, and the track I used to work at, Penkin Speedway, they do a huge bike night. Boy, I'm telling you what, Steve, that watching those kids walk out of there with that freedom has got to be just a neat and rewarding moment.
Well, it certainly is. I mean, we gave away 2 years ago when we did it. Our goal was to do more than 50 because a friend of mine did that at his track. And we ended up giving away 240 bikes that night. And I mean, there was parents, literally, one mom was in tears. And she just said, thank you. She's like, I couldn't afford to buy my son a bicycle. Now he's got one, and the only negative we heard the whole night was the guy said, well, you just cost me $100. And I said, how's that? He goes, one kid won a bike. The other one didn't. I got to go buy him one. So it was kind of funny with that one. But, to see these kids get on these bicycles, we literally handed it we were right down in front of the grandstands giving them out. Of course, we didn't even think about it, but these kids are riding, we just jumping off the steps. Like, gosh, I hope nobody gets hurt. But it was so fun. It was so fun for us to bring that little bit of happiness and thrill to all these kids and their families when they left with bikes. And, 2 weeks ago, we did our annual back-to-school backpack giveaway and candy night. What we did there was I bought 150 backpacks. Of course, I put our logo on the back of all of them, and And then we bought 14,000 pieces of candy and loaded in a big loader and spread them all the way down the front chute. And there was several hundred kids there. We turned them all loose with sacks, and there wasn't a wrapper left on the track, let alone a piece of candy when those kids were done. And 150 of them walked away with, new school backpacks this year to take to school. So we always try to do stuff to include the kids, because believe it or not, the kids will drag the parents to more events like that than the parents will drag the kids. So we always include the kids in a lot of stuff we do.
Promoting 101. We always get some wisdom from you, and I appreciate that. And whether it's a backpack or a big paying World of Outlaw race, it's all good stuff, and it's all so critical. Steve, we appreciate the time. We appreciate the time over the course of Wing Nation here. We appreciate the friendship. I know you travel, and I know there's times I've seen you at some NASCAR races, so I know I'm not saying goodbye to you. I know that's not the case, because I'll catch up with you down the road, but appreciate the time, and we wish you the best on the balance of the season and then the pending retirement from Skagit.
Well, I'm not going away. This has been my life, and I love racing, and I plan I'll be at the finals at Phoenix this year. I'll be at Daytona next year, and you're going to see me at a lot of different places around the country. I'm just, I'm done doing deadlines, and I'm done with some of the added stress that comes to running businesses, and now it's just time to relax, have a little fun. So appreciate all you guys do for the sport too. You guys do an amazing job.
Thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you down the road.
Okay, you guys, take care.
There we go. Steve Beitler, Skagit Speedway. Over the years, Dryden has stood for uncompromised value and proven performance. Known as the hardest working brand in heavy-duty lubrication, Dryden's heritage is made in America and made to last. Dryden products work to increase the life and enhance the efficiency of your equipment in the toughest conditions. Learn more about Dryden's products at Dryden.com. From grassroots racing to NASCAR, Dryden is a proud supporter of racing everywhere. For a year-round high-quality eating experience, look no further than Sage Fruit apples, pears, and cherries. Not only is their produce healthy, but they are grown with such care and precision that you can count on each piece of fruit having exceptional flavor. Sage Fruit, it's our first choice for quick and easy snacking. Want to experience racing in its purest form? Do you yearn to return to where NASCAR came from? Watch high-banked, full-throttle, super late model racing at the World 100 at Eldora Speedway on Flow Racing September 8th through the 11th. It's the crown jewel of dirt late models. This is grassroots racing at its finest. See who will win a Globe by subscribing today. Go to flowracing.com/world. That's FLOracing.com/world. Wing Nation, presented by Dryden and DRF Racing Oils. We're in the Hercules Tire Studios. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame birthday calendar. This week, Hal Robson, Granville, Hank Henry, John Mahoney, Dick Whalen, that is. Guy Forbrook, I saw him. I didn't get to talk to him, but I saw him. Did you get to talk to him? His birthday is coming up on Friday. Bob Kinzer. Today would have been the 80th birthday of the Bopper. Steve Stapp, 1999 inductee into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. He was nicknamed the Bopper. Always was showing off his bib overalls. Was born in Sherman Oaks, California. His father was Babe Stapp, who is also a Hall of Famer. So the Stapp family, and Andy, his son, is the competition director for the Carolina Sprint Tour. So the Stapp family, very, very well ingrained. I could go through stat after stat after stat, but he was 51 times a winner in USAC sprint car racing, which is second only behind Hoffman Auto Racing and Tony Stewart Racing. The bulk of his success, 40 of those 51 wins, came with Dwayne Poncho Carter. They won 2 championships. They were a dynamic team, that is for sure. And Steve Stapp, we lost him in April at 80 years old. So today would have been the birthday, 81, for Steve Stapp, but he is forever enshrined and honored at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, one sprint car place, turned to Knoxville Raceway of the famed Marion County Fairgrounds. And you can become a supporting member of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Erin, it's only $25.
It is. You get free admission to the museum and 10% discount on museum store merchandise.
Boy, 10% discount for you out there. My gosh, that'd been a chunk of change.
Well, you'll appreciate this, or I appreciate this. I didn't spending too much money there. Kate talked my sister-in-law into buying her a bunch of stuff.
Oh, dear God. Your poor sister-in-law.
But you know what Kate came back with?
What'd she come back with?
A bunch of Steve Kinzer stuff. And
really?
I was like, yes, that's my girl.
That is awesome. SprintCarHOF.com, SprintCarHOF.com. No rest for the Outlaws. River City, Red River Valley, and Houston. I can't wait to see. Boy, you got a couple of bull rings there.
I love those
Going to be
tracks.
elbows up there, that's for sure. Flow Racing, they're at I-96 in Plymouth. Bumper to bar, the IRA bumper to bumper sprints are at Wilmot and Angel Park. So everyone is back running. Ohio Valley Sprint Car Association, they're in Jackson, Ohio on Friday. And Nicole Duncan's going to take home a check. Well, no, it's at Atomic Speedway, but we kind of know how those usually go. Atomic Speedway, Attica, Lernerville, Williams Grove, Butler, Lincoln, Mercer, Pittsburgh Motor Speedway, Port Royal, St. Francis, Wayne County, Waynesfield, and yes, on Sunday, the 5th annual Armin Hostetter Memorial. That's Trailways, the great 358 track in central Pennsylvania, where they open the gates at the farm up to the 410 racers. Going to be fun stuff. Going to be a great, great weekend.
It is.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. I'm up in Michigan. I may see if I can commandeer a car and sneak to Butler. Butler starts at 7:30. The good news with Butler is traditionally you don't have to be there right at 7:30. It just depends. There's some other things I may do up there, but I may need a little methanol in my gills, if you will.
Yeah, little withdrawals going on.
Withdrawals coming up. So fun stuff. So Wing Nation apparel is available at www.wingnation.com. You can follow along all weekend long with us on social media. We are on Facebook with a page and a group. We are on Twitter as well. And if you want to see some former interviews, go to YouTube. We have a YouTube page. And joining us this weekend on our Wing Nation television program, Kyle Larson, winner of the Knoxville Nationals. So fun stuff. That is for sure. Hey, we appreciate Steve Beitler joining us on the Sage Fruit Hotline. More important, though, than all of that, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Dryden and DRF Racing Oils.